What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show. What the F is going on in Australia? Seriously, what is going on? It's literally the most insane stuff I've seen. People being arrested for not wearing a mask, people being incited for incitement, for bad behavior. But let's start off with this news story that's being circulated around from their own news.
A radical plan to crack down on social media abuse is being considered by the federal government.
Which is, they're cracking down on social media abuse. They're cracking down on everything in Australia, and we'll get into even the most Orwellian thing ever that they're doing. But I see this a lot. I watch a lot of soccer, so a lot of English fans also feel the same way. They want social media crackdown. And you're seeing this push more and more in America as more people are wanting to feel safer online because, well, there's things out there that are actual threats. Like, I get actual threats of people saying they want to fight me, beat me up, and stuff like that. But then there's people out there that just challenge rhetoric, or they just, say mean things. And you just got to learn to bounce that stuff off you, because people feel free on the internet. They feel free to say whatever they want. But this is how this news agency describes it, and you're seeing more people push for this in America. So it's important to see other countries as they progress down this road where you and I don't want that. We want freedom of speech. We want to be able to say whatever we want. We want to be able to offend whoever we want, because that's the whole point. That's the beauty of freedom of speech, is that it allows you to be offensive and it allows you to be a free thinker. But we're seeing this in our world right now as we crack down on language and crack down on how people speak to each other and what's okay and what's not okay. So even with COVID, it's like what you're allowed to talk about these things regarding COVID, but if you talk about these things, you'll be deplatformed. You'll get your videos taken down. You'll see it as misinformation. You're seen as opposed to just having a freedom of speech and allowing ideas to be passed around. You saw the same thing with Black Lives Matter. If you came out against them early on, especially, they deplatformed, they took you off, and you saw things being like even the story. I had a story about the Black Lives Matter co-founder buying up all these homes and saying it's just basically a Ponzi scheme. You're just getting rich. It's like what other pyramid scheme do you not know that the top person doesn't just like make out like this and then they're going to all these corporations and making them pay money for them to actually listen to spew their nonsense about CRT and oppression and microaggressions and all that kind of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a better person, but when you're making bank like that, you have to ask, why are you making so much money? Hey, I have to make this money. But let's listen to Australia as they continue down this road of stomping out freedom of speech, basically.
A radical plan to crack down on social media abuse is being considered by the federal government. For more, Nine's Oliver Haig joins us live in Adelaide. Ollie, how will it work?
Layla, good morning. Essentially, it will work the same as a passport. Australians forced to submit 100 points of identification, like their driver's licence or passport, when using social media accounts like Facebook and Twitter. Now, police would have access to those social media accounts, and it's all part of a crackdown on online abuse. Now, users could be liable for defamation suits or even criminal prosecution, and it's all...
Users could be liable for defamation suits or criminal prosecution.
Part of a plan hoping to deter people from engaging in bad behaviour. Now,
engaging in bad behavior. See, that's where you got to stop. What's bad behavior? What does that look like? And the point is that they are using vague language because then they can make it mean whatever they want. They can constantly change the line. So if the line was here yesterday, you said something, and the line changes to the next day, you're liable for it because you put it online, and you shouldn't have said that. This is bad behavior. Australia right now is a nut house. It's basically a prison. The things that you're not allowed to do were, of course the celebrities are allowed to do whatever they want there, but it's the normal everyday people that are being forced to be locked down and stuff like that. But let's get into this Atlantic article that is... just crazy. But let's read it. Interstate travel in Australia is already severely restricted. So you're not allowed to drive anywhere. And the government of South Australia, one of the country's 6 states, developed and is now testing an app as Orwellian as any free world to enforce its quarantine rules. They're developing an app. Hey, it's a passport. It's not an app. It's a key to the city. You want to go out to eat? Download this app. We won't use it for anything that you don't think is necessary. People in South Australia will be forced to download an app that combines facial recognition and geolocation. Right. We need to know what you look like and know where you are at all times. It's for your safety. The state will text them at random times. So the government is they're just gonna randomly text these people at random times to see where they are, and they're forced to take a picture of their face to make sure it's them out and about, and in their location where they are supposed to be. So you say you want to visit your dying grandmother, and you know you're not allowed to, but you want to say goodbye to her one last time, and you told the government you're at a grocery store? This is for your safety. Australia had a big gripe with China about this whole COVID-19, but they've slowly turned in. When I say slowly, I mean they've really turned into China. I don't see the difference. I've seen side-by-side comparisons of China arresting people for COVID-19 breaking rules, and it's no different than the way Australia does. And most importantly is that it is police that are doing it. You're seeing a real shift in the way people view police officers in this country and other countries abroad, as some are good and they are just decent people, and then some are just, quote-unquote, doing their job. I'm being told I have to arrest you for not wearing a mask. I'm being told I need to shut down your gym because I'm being told to do so. I'm being told to give you a fine for not wearing a mask because I've been told to. There's this weird video circulating the internet too, as well, of a guy being forced to take off his Make America Great hat, because if he doesn't, he's going to have his fingerprints taken and arrested. Let's keep reading down this state. Should you fail to do so, if the government texts you and you don't respond back, should you fail, the local police department will be sent to follow up in person. You didn't respond fast enough. You didn't respond at all. We're sending an entire police squadron to find you. I know you're taking your kid to the park. You're by yourself. Maybe you're not wearing a mask. But we'll take you down. We don't tell them how often or when on a random basis. They have to reply within 15 minutes. It's like your mom or I mean, what the?
If you don't, you go to Steven's house and I call you and you don't respond to me in 15 minutes, you're gonna be in trouble, mister.
Premier Stephen Marshall explained, I think every South Australian should feel pretty proud that we are the national pilot for the home-based quarantine app. That's right. Feel proud of your government. Feel proud of the people in power. Feel proud of the power to the people. We're doing this for your good. Other states have curtailed their citizens' liberty in the name of safety. The state of Victoria announced a curfew and suspension its parliament for key parts of the pandemic. To put it in context, federal and state parliaments sat during both world wars and the Spanish flu, and curfews have never been imposed. Of course. You're seeing more liberties taken from this virus than any other virus. The scholar John Lee observed an article of the Brooklands Institution. In responding to the question about whether it has gone too far with respect to imposing curfew, avoiding the question of why a curfew is needed when no other state had one, Victoria Premier Daniel Andrews replied, "It's not about human rights, it's about human life. If it saves one life, This thought that is being passed around, you see Fauci talking about it, you see Biden talking about it. If it saves one life, why don't we do it? Nobody applies that logic to anything else. If that logic, we wouldn't have cars, we wouldn't have pencils, we wouldn't have coffee, we wouldn't have airplanes, we wouldn't have sugar. Oh, dear God. We wouldn't have alcohol, we wouldn't have cigarettes, we wouldn't have, you wouldn't go outside, you wouldn't you wouldn't go for a walk, because what if you slip and fall? If it saves one, do it. This is why it's insanity. The old, it saves one. New Wales South Police Minister David Elliott defended the deployment of Australian military to enforce lockdowns. The police minister is, hey, we're just doing our job, telling the BBC that some of the residents of the state thought the rules didn't apply to them, but it applies to everyone, okay? In Sydney, there were more than 5 million people who have been in lockdown for more than 2 months. In Melbourne, the country's second biggest city, anti-lockdown protests were banned. When dissenters gathered anyways, hundreds were arrested and fined. Dissenters. This language is important. It's important to hear the language that is spoken. Very communistic, it's very fascist. Authoritarianism. And these people are just celebrating this. They want to be told what to do. They want to be told how to live. Because, hey, what doesn't affect me? Australia is undoubtedly a democracy with multiple political parties, regular elections, and peaceful transfer of power. But if a country indefinitely forbids its own citizens from leaving its borders, strands tens of thousands of citizens abroad, puts strict rules on infrastructure travel, prohibits citizens from leaving their home without an excuse from an official government list, mandates masks even when people are outdoors and socially distanced, deploys the military to enforce rules, bans protests, and arrests and fines dissenters, is the country still a liberal democracy? No. It's not. This is why it's insane. This is why the more videos I see out of Australia, I can only imagine. But this is what these people voted for. This is what they wanted. They wanted this kind of rule. They wanted this kind of being told what to do. Australia, New Zealand are just on a whole other wavelength. They're on China's wavelength. I hope we don't turn into them. If you're seeing a bigger pushback from students protesting mask mandate in Colorado just recently. They walk out refusing to comply with mask mandates, which I'm so thankful for. You need the students to rise up and speak out because it's important. It's important for children to rise up because, liberals and Democrats put so much emphasis on youth for speaking truth. I love this kid right here. My body, my choice. Here's a video of it. So it says Denver, Colorado, but it's more like Highlands Ranch. Probably not every student, but it's good to see a lot of students rise up and leave. Legend High School, which is not in Denver. It's right outside of Denver. It's in Parker. They're walking out. The more students that rise up and do this, the better. Student walk out. Students rising up and speaking out against this because that's what you need. We need more people to fight back on this stuff. And I don't mean act. I just mean protest, quit your job if they force vaccinations. The power is with you. The power is with you in this. The more you fight back about this, the more they will stop pushing for these things. But the more you just say, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing what I'm told to do. I'm just doing what they tell me. If I don't do this, I'll lose my blah. You fill in the blank. The more they will just push for more and more rules, and then also feel like, oh, we are the ones in control. We are the ones that have the power, not you. But the more you push back, the more you protest, the more you threaten to quit, the more you look for a job elsewhere, the more you're willing to move to another state, the more power you put, the more emphasis you push, the more they will back off. There's never been a time where a government takes power away from its citizens and gives it back. Why would they do that? They like power. They like being in control. If they're in control, then you look to them for answers. They feel more in control. They get your votes. They win your trust. Because who else are you going to trust? You can't trust anyone else. Because if you don't trust them, they'll put you in jail. And no one wants to be in jail, especially good people. I'm just not wearing So, figure what you need to do in this situation. Figure out where your line is when it comes to these COVID lockdowns. Because I think they're just testing it again. Just wait. When coronavirus season hits, you know, when people are staying inside, they're staying indoors because it's too cold outside, you'll see it. You'll see a switch. Because it's the easiest way to spread the virus. Staying locked in. Staying inside the same house. Let me know your thoughts on this below. Let me know what you're thinking when it regards to this. It's good to see the youth standing up. It's good to see they're saying, you know what? I've seen people saying, like, if you're scared of COVID-19, don't come to school. Don't. But I think another thing is you're seeing parents pull their kids out of school. They're doing these pods. They're doing homeschool. Because what's the point? You want your kids to be taught by some of these teachers anyways? Absolutely not. I mean, I'm looking at having kids, and I worked in education. I don't want majority of those teachers teaching my kids. I just don't. I know too much. You need to figure out where your line is when it comes to this COVID-19 stuff, and I'm curious to know where your line is. Let me know below, in the comments below. Let me know where you say, I won't do this. Because I think it's important to know where a lot of people's lines are, because most people don't know. Some people is vaccination. They just won't do the vaccine. Some people is vaccine and then have to put back on your mask. Vaccine and vaccine passports, key to the city. I know people that have moved from New York City because they said, you know what? If we're doing this key to the city bullcrap for real, show me your papers kind of crap, I am not going to stand for this. So much so that I'm going to move. And I think people need to be ready to do stuff like that, because that's the only way your voice will be heard. Because the people that just lay down and take it, they will do it all day. They love the government. They love being told what to do. They love being told by the elitists and told how to live. It's funny, all my friends that grew up saying F the government, they're now, or in like F Big Pharma, they're all for it, and they're making TikTok videos for it. It makes no sense. But that, I've always said, liberal policies tend to lean more towards communism, socialism, authoritarianism, fascism. And you're seeing it played out. Let me know your thoughts below. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just being an idiot. Let me know. And that's fine too. Because you know what? I don't care. People call me all kinds of crap. All right. Have a great day. I'll see you on the next episode of The Derek O'Shea Show.